The dictionary definition of science is the intellectual and practical activity encompassing the systematic study of the structure and behaviour of the physical and natural world through observation and experiment.
While that does technically define science, there is a lot more to it than just that definition. For us, science isn't just the logic, there is a driving force behind it of wanting to know more and enjoying learning.
Science is a process by which you can find out more about the world around us by doing some initial observations, making some observations, formulating hypotheses, and then, and that's actually important, performing some experiments or more observations that set out to disprove your hypothesis.
Cells within the body can be split into two categories: differentiated cells, such as muscle, skin, and bone, and undifferentiated cells, known as stem cells.
I should do. Is it the sort of cross? No, I should know. I have heard of stem cells.
I'm a medic, so I should know this, but I feel like they're cells that have the potential to grow into any other cell.
There is no good definition of what a stem cell is other than this functional one, that a stem cell is a cell that has the ability to self-renew and to differentiate into a more specialized cell type.
Embryonic stem cells are derived from embryos. For the most part, they are harvested from embryos that develop from eggs that have been fertilized in vitro in a fertilization clinic, rather than in a female's body, and are then donated for research purposes with informed consent of the donors.
So, research into embryonic stem cells is important because the capacity of these cells to make any cell type in the body could potentially be harnessed to generate cell types for use in therapies, transplantation-based therapies, for many, many diseases. So far, this has been very, very limited. So this is very early stage still for most areas of embryonic stem cell research. But if we don't do the research, we will never know if it is possible to do that.
I believe that it should happen in the right ways.
I do not believe that they should be used for stem cell research.
You know, research into so many different things, I think has to happen, and I think it is probably the way forward. Yeah, you're dead right. There's probably many people don't agree with it. I would certainly say research into anything has to be a positive.
So the regulation at the moment is that you can use embryos for derivation of embryonic stem cells, and that can be done as long as you have the right license. And to get a license, you need to demonstrate that your research is essential. You can't do it if it's for a trivial reason. Mm-hmm. And that is because it is unacceptable to use embryos, destroy them essentially, if you're not going to make something useful out of it. These are not embryos that would normally be used for reproductive purposes. Most often they are surplus to requirement, or they are of not good enough quality, so they wouldn't survive. They are very often embryos that belong to couples who had in vitro fertilization for infertility, but they have now completed their families, and these embryos are stored in freezers or in liquid nitrogen. And if we don't use them for research, then either they stay in suspended animation forever, as they do in some countries such as Italy, or they will get incinerated. So I think it's good that they are used when there is a need, and well-regulated framework to support that.